on on the whole issue of voter cades, where we are going to stop talking theory and get down to who's willing to do what. So we're going to spend some time on that. But before we get started, or as our opening start, we have a part of our network, the Transformative Justice Coalition, really got us into making voting rights and votercades a priority. That was not on our agenda for 2022 until attorney Barbara Arnwine met with us in January, got everybody all fired up. So now we're trying to produce votercades, and it's not easy. We sent out a survey to 3,000 people asking them to respond to voting rights, and we got a 2% response. 2% out of 3,000 people, we could hear back from like 40 people. I'm very distressed with that because it kind of gave me a feeling that people didn't see this as something they needed to make a priority in what they were doing. But anyway, we'll talk about all that later. But attorney Lynn Whitfield is joining us from the Transformative Justice Coalition. They are the creators of the votercade concept that we're trying to recruit and imitate. So attorney Whitfield, thank you so much. And please just give us some idea of where you guys are in the process, what you think should be going on, and what you think we should be trying to do.
Thank you, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. Well, let me tell you where we are in our process. We have started hearing from some of our partners that have done votercades in the past, and they have told us that they are looking forward to and they are starting to plan their future votercades for the midterm elections. For those who are on the call that were not here on the last time when I spoke and who may not really know what a votercade is, because when I first heard of a votercade, I was like, what? What is that? So votercade is the name we have given it. It is basically a motorcade of cars that are decorated with signs about protect the vote, get out and vote. And it goes through some of the lower turnout neighborhoods and encourages people to get out and vote. Now, depending on when you do it, what area you do it at, we have had people who have done votercades that are done on an early voting day so that they could actually lead the people to the poll for them to vote at that time. We've had other people who have done them on Saturdays, and what we normally ask people to do when they're doing one is to start your votercade with a press conference, because you want to let everybody know that you're out here telling people about the right to vote and to get out and vote. And you do your votercade and you end it with a celebration village. At that celebration village, you may have elected officials speak, with always remembering, though, this is a nonpartisan event. And so you're not asking candidates to come up and speak or even be there in that role. We can't prohibit anybody from joining us, but we tell them they can't be there to campaign. I can't stop you from introducing you, just telling somebody your name and talking to them, but we have no campaigning going on. But a little program, very short, because people's attention span is not that great. And you want to have it some entertainment. We've had people who've had drum corps there to play at the end at the celebration. You want some music. You want to have some kind of food. If you can. We've had food trucks. We've had people who have just done hot dogs, whatever. And of course, we started this during the pandemic. So we were also giving out masks and hand sanitizers and things of that nature, because we were very COVID aware and trying to be COVID safe with the votercades. The one we did here in Palm Beach County back in May of last year went all the way from Boynton Beach Mall, and Kim will know with the distance this is, Boynton Beach Mall, up Congress, onto Australia, into Riviera Beach, to the Dan Calloway park. So we went several miles with ours, and we had the one police department in Boynton Beach. They took us to like Lake Worth, and then we had Riviera Beach picked us up in West Palm, actually. So ours was, we had a bus that led us, and it was very well received. And we find that we get a lot of attraction and a lot of activity from doing these votercades. That's why they're successful. That's why people have contacted us again, said, okay, we're ready. We want to start getting our votercade together. So we know that in Virginia, there are a couple of places that are already starting to plan for a votercade for their primary and for the fall. So they're trying to do two, and that's in the Alexandria area. I don't know if you have any people in that area, but it's the Alexandria, Arlington, Virginia. There's a church there, Shiloh Baptist Church. And so they have already reached out to us. I believe Lawton County in Virginia has already reached out to us. And we're starting actually to reach out to our former partners and find out who is on board this year, who wants to do it. But we know that we will get a lot of response from people. Philadelphia, they did one, and then next thing we know, they were doing another one. I think Philadelphia probably did 10 in 1 year. So even though they're not easy to organize, they're really, the organization of them is really not that hard. Of course, you partner with other organizations, the League of Women Voters came out. We had a lot of different organizations that came out and helped us, those that are in the voting rights arena. And, they don't all look like us. But that's okay. They got cars, they got horns, they can make noise, they can go and they can do what we need them to do in getting people out to vote. Let me just say this is the last thing, and I'll take a few questions before I have to jump off, is that it was through doing a votercade in Brunswick, Georgia in 2020 for the runoff elections in Georgia, that Barbara and Daryl met Diane Albury, who is the oldest aunt of Ahmaud Arbery. And she took them around and introduced them to her family. And that is where they learned that one of the aunts was 53 years old, and it was her first time voting ever. She had never voted before. Her nephew had been shot and killed, and before they had gone around and gotten the signatures necessary to get the independent on the ballot to run against the district attorney, who had withheld evidence and had not brought the charges against the 3 murderers. And they were a part of that success in defeating her, and also working until she ended up getting charged herself, and now she's under indictment. But that's just to show you a little bit of the story that you will learn and the things that people you will encounter on these votercades, that you can help and inspire them and tell them why they need to get out there and vote. So anyone have any questions? We do have a handbook that we send to people on how to do it's a little guide book on how to put together a votercade.
Yes, and we appreciate that guidebook, and you've given us permission to share it. And
Yes.
so we have it. So for people who want a copy of this wonderful guidebook, be sure to put your email address in the chat room. Are there any questions for Attorney Whitfield?
I have one. This is Glennis. I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Glennis, you're on mute. We lost you.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. And I have not read the guidebook, and you may have the answer there, but do we need to get permission from our city to go through the streets, or because it sounds somewhat like a parade in a way. So is that something we need to check out first?
Well, you need to check it out when you're in the process of doing it, doing your
Mhm.
planning. You do need to check with the cities. We didn't get a permit per se, but because we went to the police department to ask for the escorts, because we actually had the police escort and block off because Kim can tell you Congress is a large street. It's not one of the smaller streets, like it's a main thoroughfare in Palm Beach County. So we were taking a whole lane and we had a bus and we had about 60 cars. So we needed to be able to get through intersections and everything. So we got permission from the city, and the city actually became a sponsor of our votercade. The mayor participated, but that's the way we went for the actual going through. The other cities, we didn't get a permit from them. We just decided that we would follow the law. Once the Boynton Beach police left us, we followed all traffic signals. It wasn't that far. It wasn't that long of a distance, and because we had a straight route. So we just, as long as you complying with traffic signals, you don't need a permit to drive on the street. But if you want them to block off things and allow you to go through intersections, you do need to work with the city. What we did get a permit for was for our celebration village in the, because it was the city park that we utilized. And so we did get a permit for that, to utilize that. We also, we didn't get a permit, but we had to get permission from the mall. I mean, we actually started in the parking lot of a mall. So we had to get permission from the mall to do that. And we were able to do that, and, make sure you keep, if it's all by email, because everybody's like by email now. So if ours was by email, so I was glad I had the emails on my phone when security said, wait a minute, y'all can't, yes, we can, see? So, yeah.
Okay, so the safer strategy is to go ahead and
Thank you.
get permission where you can.
Yeah, when you can, go ahead and get permission, or know that you have to abide by the traffic rules wherever you are. Okay, can't nobody stop you from taping up your cars with signs that aren't offensive and driving down the street, so. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Another question, Attorney Whitfield told me she's got a tight schedule, so she might have time for one more question or comment.
Yeah, Gloria, I thought I had my hand raised, but apparently I didn't.
No, you did.
I can't tell because my screen is very strange.
Now, yes, your hand is raised. Okay.
Okay. We did something in Philadelphia in addition to the votercade. As a matter of fact, the votercade was done by another group that we worked with. We did mobile voters, where we were taking people to the polls
Mhm.
because of the fact that everything was shut down in the senior centers, and a lot of seniors could not get up and out to get to the. So I wanted to congratulate you, because I think that what you guys did was pretty effective, because it did wake a lot of people up. But we've got primaries coming up. How far ahead of the primaries, and how often do you recommend we do the votercades?
Well, it depends on what do you want to do, because you want to kind of target the lower turnout areas. So you want to get to them. So, if you've got a couple of those significant, then you would want to do one in each one of those areas, unless you could tie it all in somehow, with one votercade. But my suggestion would be to concentrate on doing one votercade during primaries. Now, that could be if you have early voting during the primaries, you can just pick a day. If they have Saturday early voting, pick a Saturday. to do the votercade and try to encourage as many people as you want. Now, one of the other effective ways to do it, if you can, now that we're kind of coming out, y'all got to excuse me, my dog decides he wants to play with his squeaky toy while I'm on Zoom. But you can send people out in advance to canvass and to leave flyers saying that there's going to be a votercade on Saturday along the route that you're going to be taking. So
Okay.
people can expect that it's going to be one, and the purpose, and tell them, you can give them a little flyer, hey, join the votercade and go down and put in your vote, doing early voting on Saturday, whatever. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Attorney Whitfield, we're working on some social media productions. So in another week or two, we should have a video for TikTok and another video that Damon Naylor is working on. So we'll make those available to you. And we're putting the Transformative Justice Coalition logo in the video, and where we can. We're making sure that we highlight your wonderful organization.
Okay, well, thank you. And let's get together and talk some more about the logistics.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Y'all take care now.
Okay.
You too.
And I'm glad to see new faces on our meeting. This is great. Welcome to those of you if this is your first meeting. We're inviting you to Black Women for Positive Change and our good brothers. You're invited to join our network if you wish. You can do that at our website, blackwomenforpositivechange.org. If you're only interested in the votercades, you're welcome, and we're glad to have you here. But if you're part of the organization, then you get all the correspondence and all the information also. So anyway, primary elections were mentioned, and I have a map here, or a calendar of the primaries that are coming up. So I'm going to ask those of you who are on here, if you think you know someone, or if you think you can do a votercade during this primary, let us know and comment when I mention the name. Indiana comes up May 3rd. Ohio, May 3rd. Now, Ohio is a really critical state. Anyone have any suggestions? Lisa, I know she lives in Ohio. Anyone else have any ideas for Ohio? Okay.
Steph,
Yes.
I'll email this over to you. I just got something from Dr. Ife Williams with the list of contacts in Ohio that she thinks might be interested. So I'll email that over to you because she sent it. Okay.
And I'll share that with Lisa. And Gloria Dulon Wilson, who's in Philadelphia, she's got all kinds of resources, and she contacted Dr. Ife Williams, who's head of the National Congress of Black Women. And Ife is going to reach out to Congresswoman Marcia Fudge, who represents Ohio. So maybe we can get something going. But that sounds great. Okay. All right. If you get any ideas about Ohio after this call, please let us know. Okay. Nebraska's May 10th. West Virginia's May 10th. Any leads there? Okay. May 17th, Kentucky, DG. Kentucky, North Carolina, Oregon, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay, so Gloria Dulon will have Pennsylvania going. What about Kentucky, DG? Any prospects for a votercade?
No, I wanted to come on and learn more about it. So that's why I asked if you can send the booklet too. There is a group that may be interested, but I don't know. And I know enough to be dangerous. So I wanted to cure my ignorance. So that's why I'm sitting in and listening.
All right. Well, the woman who was just on, Attorney Lynn Whitfield, if you have somebody who needs more details, let's try to set them up with her or some Transformative Justice Coalition. We're kind of the middleman. We're not the experts with logistics. We have not done this before. So we're relying on them to be able to kind of provide some guidance.
I just know when we looked it up here, you need to get a parade permit, and the police can break you up if anyone says what you're doing is offensive or inappropriate. So so I just said I need to find out more. So that's what I asked if you could send me that booklet, and I don't mean to take up any more time, but
Sure.
yeah, we're just a little nervous here. It's Mitch McConnell territory. We're nervous.
This is a nervous time. We understand. Okay, May 19th is Idaho. May 24th, Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Texas. Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Texas. Any
I
takers?
thought Texas primary was, what they do in January?
On
was it-
this sheet I have is May 24th.
That's kind of interesting.
January was if
Hmm.
you got 50% or more in Texas, you didn't have to stand in the primary. If candidates got less than 50%, then there'll be 2 in the primary.
I think it's their runoffs, Gloria.
Yeah.
That's what they have here.
Ah.
runoffs. Okay,
Okay.
so they had the primaries already.
Yeah.
Carthenia Jefferson is down in Alabama. And Attorney Jefferson, you've got your great network down there. We're talking about votercades, a minimum of 10 cars. Attorney Whitfield said they had 60 cars and a bus in a votercade that they did. Okay, June, California, Iowa, Mississippi, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, South Dakota. Anybody in any areas? Okay,
These are places where it looks like we're gonna have to do some outreach. Maybe maybe Barbara might be able to get back to her, and she may know people in those areas. Barbara Onwine.
Okay.
Some of this, we're probably not gonna know, especially when you start talking about North Dakota and South Dakota. We know we don't know people there, but they may be people that she knows through her organization.
we do know people in Mississippi and
Oh,
some of
yeah.
Okay, well, just think creatively, crew. If you're on the call, think creatively. If you belong to national organizations, try to get them on board with this. It doesn't mean you personally have to go recruit 10 or 20 cars. Try to find an organization that you think will do it. And that's just as good. Okay, June 14th, Maine, Nevada, North Dakota, South Carolina. Anybody in those states? June 21st, Arkansas, Georgia. Georgia has runoffs and Virginia has primaries. Okay. Then June 28th, we come to Colorado, Illinois, Mississippi is having a runoff, New York, Oklahoma, South Carolina runoffs, and Utah primaries.
What was the primary date for Virginia? June, you said June? For Virginia,
Virginia was
June
June 21st.
June 21st.
June 21st.
Stephanie, is it possible to share that calendar with us? Like a group?
Yeah, all I did, just kind of Google 2022 midterm election calendar. And it's right on the web. I got it this afternoon. 2022 midterm election calendar.
Yeah, Dr. Myers, this is Danielle. What I was going to also, good evening, everyone.
Hello, Danielle.
I'm sorry, I'm driving.
Okay.
So I wanted to say one of the things we can do is reach out to some of the individuals we were partnering with when we did our other organization for the campaign. And so we can reach out to some of them, some of the chairs that were there. I know I looked at the names. I do have a couple of individual sorors that I had invited on because I like what we're doing, going state by state. And like you said, we can do the different organizations and some of the members of the Divine Nine, just asking them. So I saw Gloria's name on here and Gloria Soror Minette on here as well. And I guess what I want to say, we can all just get together and talk about, the different organizations that we are a part of and just reach out to all of the presidents and chairs and pick a couple of dates, like how we had spoke before where we would do like different weekends. I like what the attorney was saying regarding having it on a Saturday, or even a Sunday if we get the churches involved,
Sure.
After church. So I just wanted to say that to them and let them know why they're on. That's something I can also definitely call them because I did reach out to the chapters, all of the chapters in Baltimore and Columbia. But I also want to reach out to our state chair as well, just to see if we can get some of the sorors together, the social action, political action chairs and the chapters for Maryland. So that was basically why I wanted to invite you guys on as well, sorors, so we can put that together. So I wanted you to also hear what we were discussing tonight.
Okay, that sounds real good. Well, your primary in Maryland comes up July 19th, so you've got a little time.
Yeah, we got some time. It's not until the 19th. Yeah, it was pushed back because of the redistricting issues. Hopefully it won't get pushed back again.
Now, for those of you who are new to us, you can sign up to do a votercade on our website, blackwomenforpositivechange.org. And by doing that, then we're sure to have your email address, your phone number, and all of that. So you can sign up if you nail something down, please do. July 19th, Maryland. Okay, then we come to North Carolina, July 26th. North Carolina, Henry Lancaster, any possibilities there?
Oh, absolutely. If you are available, I'd like to arrange for an introduction to you to the North Carolina Black Alliance. They are a C4 that are very engaged in voter turnout. And so they're well-funded and they have staff and they cover about 25 counties.
Okay.
So I've talked to them and they will let me know tomorrow what potential times are. And I hope that you could be available at some point for that introduction.
Glad to do that. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet our newest member, good brother Henry Lancaster, Raleigh, Durham. Welcome. We're glad to have you. And thank you for that. And let us know, and we'll certainly want to participate. We will also have some videos that we can make available to your Black Alliance that they can use locally or in social media, or even maybe for public service spots. Damon Naylor down in Louisiana has produced a really great video that we might be able to show. We've had a little trouble getting it up on the Zoom, but he's here tonight, so we'll talk about that also. Okay, just running through the rest of some of these states: Arizona, Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, and the state of Washington is August 2nd. Arizona, Kansas, Michigan, Missouri, state of Washington. Michigan should be an important one. So please think about your contacts there. What about August 4th in Tennessee? Anybody looked up in Tennessee? August 9th, Connecticut, Minnesota, and Vermont, and Wisconsin. So these are all primaries. Hawaii's August 13th. August 16th, Alaska, South Dakota, Wyoming. We don't have that many people there. A big one, August 23rd in Florida. Okay, Florida ladies. Dr. Joseph and Lynn Hubbard, are you in Florida? Okay. Okay. Would you unmute, please? Unmute.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Joseph's guest.
Okay, great. All righty. So you guys are down in Florida. Well, that's really important. Boy, you've got a heck of a thing going in Florida. That governor of yours. Woo!
Miss Hubbard, Lynn is a little modest. She's my guest, but she is far more in tune. She's a former city council for the city of Riviera Beach, has her thumb on the pulse of many of our local issues. I'm just bringing her into the fold because I know she has a lot to offer and she is well connected. So I'm looking forward. And I was really surprised when I saw Lynn Whitfield. We have known her we've known her for over 20 years. She and I were church members. So I'm excited to, kind of begin to move forward in becoming more civically engaged since with both Lynn Hubbard and Lynn Whitfield.
Excellent.
I'm Lynn with the E. Are there any members here from NCBW?
National Congress of Black Women?
National Coalition of 100 Black Women.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
New York.
I was thinking of that I'm the chair for public policy and advocacy, that they might be a good partner for us to invite or engage with the
Great partner.
votercade.
That would be
Well,
excellent.
this is Danielle from Maryland. I'm going to talk to one of our chairs here for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. I did speak with her briefly, so she is excited about being a part of this. So I'll talk to her and go into more details since we do have a little time since we're back in June. I was kind of waiting a little bit because we just got our date change. So yes, we do have someone from a 100 Coalition of Black Women.
And Danielle Smith in Baltimore, she's the chair of our coalitions committee. So she's the perfect person to do the partnerships with other groups.
Wonderful. Okay.
And Lynn Whitfield, I believe we will have Barbara Arnwine on in 2 weeks. We meet each Wednesday at the same time, 7 o'clock. And attorney Barbara Arnwine will be on, and she's a great speaker and gets people all pumped up. So if you have anyone special you want to invite, that's a good occasion to do that. Okay,
Wonderful.
then we go.
That's a question.
Yes, uh-huh.
I know that everybody's looking at doing these right around the time of the primaries, but because of low voter registration, I'm just wondering whether or not this would be something done intermittently leading up to the primary as well, because people don't always just turn out just because of one votercade. So I'm thinking that, and I'm going to make a proposal to my local people here, that we try to do at least 3, because our primary is on the 17th of May, prior to the deadline for registry to vote in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, is coming up real quick, May 1st. So if we're going to try to energize and activate folks, we're going to start as soon as possible. But the other thing too is that even after the so-called primaries, since the general election is in November, this is something that we would want to have done on an intermittent basis, maybe pre-scheduled, to keep the attention on, keep the focus on, keep the people interested and activated and motivated.
Absolutely. So yes, we're not saying just do one votercade on your primary election day. Be creative and do what you can. If you can do several in different neighborhoods, please. If you can get a group of millennials and Gen Zs to march with your motorcade, they'll get attention. You know, whatever you can do in your community. Absolutely. September 6th is Massachusetts. September 13th, Delaware, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. And then we come into the general election in November. So we have primaries starting May 3rd, right on through September. So
Dr. Myers, I was going to say, add in, this is Danielle again, I'm sorry, that the young lady who just spoke made a great point, that we are actually doing that with our central committee now. We're already starting to do some votercades. And also these votercades can be a form of doing voter registration as well as voter education. And usually what we are doing, like the attorney mentioned, you can have a party, you know, like the day before, where you get together and decorate, you know, all the decorations you're going to do for your cars. You can set up a tent for where you have the people come to do voter registration, and have up information about when they're going to have the election, different dates, the voting places, you know, where the drop boxes are going to be, all of those things of that nature. And then some things about why it's important to vote. So that is definitely a great point. Thank you for sharing.
Some of the slogans that we're pushing, and then Glennis, I'll come right to you.
Okay.
Some of the slogans are midterm votes matter. Midterm votes matter. Also, another slogan that's come out is voting is not a joke. It's another slogan. So think of catchy phrases.
And also victory votercades.
Go ahead.
Victory votercades.
Victory votercades, okay? Victory votercades. Okay, Glennis, what were you gonna say?
Okay, because of the shortness of time, and I'm speaking for here in Virginia right now, is it okay if we didn't do one for the primary, but focus on the general election for a votercade? That's okay?
Absolutely.
No, you gotta have it for the primary, because that's gonna let you know, that's gonna get your candidates. If you don't do what needs to be done to get people out, to get your candidates backed up and voted for, you're gonna have a real sad situation when it comes down to the general. That primary is key.
I understand that,
Exactly.
but time might be of the essence in getting things together. Even though I'm planning on trying to get a votercade going. I have other things that I have to do, and other groups have things that they have to do who have agreed that they would, want to work along with us. And I don't know if we can pull it off by June 21st, because this is almost May. So we can see if we can get something done before then, that would be perfect. If not, then we'll focus on the general election.
Okay.
Well, one thing I want to mention too, ladies, and a great point the young lady just made is when we're doing the voter case and doing voter registration, and a meeting last night where we got our statistics, we need to also, because the primary is so important, encourage individuals to write their status down, whether or not they're Republican or Democrat, and the importance of voting in the primary, which sets the tone for what's going to happen during the general election. So while we're doing this, these voter cades, or if you can't do a voter cade right now, do just a regular voter registration. But it's important to get the information out now, because this is a very vital midterm, and this is, we call autocracy. And the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of people, especially in our communities, who are talking about not voting. And they want us to make sure we give out the message of why it's important to vote and what's really happening and what's going on, as opposed to focusing on what's not happening, and that it takes time to get to where we need to be.
Absolutely. Now we're going to be pushing social media. And Damon, I don't know if we want to try the video one more time, but we have a video that Damon Naylor, good brother Damon out of Louisiana, has produced that you all have access to. We also have a group of Gen Zs in DC who are putting together a dance voting video for TikTok. So anyone who's in DC who wants to be a part of the dance team, they want to have it intergenerational. They want some boomers, some Generation X, and some Gen Zs dancing together. They think that will get attention, and they'll be pushing voting. And so we're trying to get some media to try to gin up some interest. And Lisa, yes, Lisa has put into the chat a link to a memo she found. Lisa, would you describe this memo?
The gentleman who wrote it, I looked for 10 reasons to vote on the internet. This was the best one I found. The gentleman's Asian American, and the reasons he comes up with are the regular reasons, but he also gets into civil rights. He gets into our ancestors before us, the people that are coming after us, the hope. So he has 10 really strong, solid reasons why people should vote. What I'm thinking about doing in terms of voting and all is I have a mailing list of different newsletters I've done, just putting them all together and sending out the, how to vote, why to vote, and the 10 reasons to vote, to get people to get them and share them and get it out as far as we can, because the Ohio primary is May 3rd. So, but anyway, that's what that is. It's 10. So if you need it, you can use it. There's a link to it. You can tailor it to your needs, but they're really good, strong reasons. And he categorizes them and lays them out pretty tough.
And Gloria
I
also found a memo that had 81 reasons. Was it 81 or 61, Gloria? Reasons why? Okay.
61 things to look out for voter suppression and to report if you encounter them. That was published by Barbara Arnwine, by the way, the lawyer and the speaker that you're going to have for 2 weeks. But the other thing is that we're starting midterm votes matter. And we're going to be getting out information in any way we can through social media and other ways to start generating more interest and involvement in why you can't just sit through this midterm. We are under siege. This is a crisis moment. We are looking at a situation where if we're not careful, all of us wonderful little people will be sitting under a fascist regime, because the people that we're dealing with, while we're being nice and polite and everything, they're pulling out all the stops to make sure that we're not able to do any of this. And if we do, they're going to try to be the disruptors. So that's why they're passing all these voter suppression laws, because they're afraid that we're going to have a three-peat. We overturned in 2018 a lot of what Trump was able to do. We won the presidential election in 2020. If we win 2022, we will not hear from these people for a long time. And that's why they're afraid, and that's why they're trying to do so many things. And that's why I'm so happy that Stephanie and Black Women for Positive Change and all the other organizations are on board, because we have to take this as a crisis situation. We really literally are under siege in this country by our own domestic people, with the former AirStat president leading the onslaught.
Okay. Yep. All righty. Damon, I've made you a co-host. Do you want to try to play the video and see if we can?
Yes, ma'am. I figured it out earlier. So I got it. Let me pull it up here. Can you hear it?
Yeah. We're not seeing it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're hearing it but not seeing it. My bad.
We see many of you, Damon. We're seeing your
You're still seeing me?
video screen, right, but not the
we
video
don't-
itself.
Okay, let's see. Let me stop share and pull it up. Let's see.
And when we wrap up our meeting, the last thing we're going to do this evening is play a little clip for a play that's coming out on Shirley Chisholm. It'll just be something for you to know about. That'll be at the end of this session, and Darren Joseph is going to show it when we get to wrap up our meeting on a good note. Okay, Damon, let's try again.
All right, here we go. Let me see. All right, share. All right, do you see it now?
Yes, good.
Here we go.
Perfect.
There it is.
Okay, great. Very good, Damon. Very good. Yes, we'll share the video. And this is something you can, if you've got relationships with some of your local TV stations, public TV, cable, YouTube, and Damon, we want to get this on YouTube. And so
Yeah.
we have a channel, Black Women for Positive Change, Urgent Issues Channel. And our Chronicle Vision host, Darren Joseph, will make sure he gets it. So anyway, we'll get this out, folks. And that's why it's important for you to join the network to make sure that you're on the list to get everything and that it's not kind of catch as catch can. We have an active members list for 2022, and that's the primary place everything goes. Our dues are reasonable. It's $100 a year, probably the cheapest organization you belong to, given the way things go these days. Gloria Cooper Blue, you didn't see the video. Did everyone else see the video?
Yeah.
Okay, what happened, Gloria? But we'll share it for sure. Thank you, Damon.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, and as I mentioned, Maria Joseph is working with some Gen Zs in DC, and they've got a really cute idea for this dancing TikTok, so we'll have that. Okay, so that's kind of where we are right now. How can we get people jazzed up? You know, we're at a crisis, as Gloria eloquently said. How do we get people jazzed up? A lot of people are depressed. You know, they're coming out of COVID. They're just upset with the government. They're upset with Ukraine. They're just upset. Come on, Damon, you're gonna say
I
something.
think that
Yeah. No, I was just about to say, Dr. Myers, whenever you're ready, we're ready to start the blitz, to start creating some excitement and stirring people up. And as a matter of fact, I have the link if you would like me to post it. So if anyone has social media handles, they can go to it and get the social media handles so we could start the blitz. Basically, whenever you're ready, I can start it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm excited and pumped.
One-
So it's time to,
I need you to put the blackwomenforpositivechange.org on the last chart, okay? So people
Yes,
can
ma'am.
sign up.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, on the, you're talking about the video, right?
But what you're talking about is what?
I'm talking
Social
about the,
media.
that, just the post that that I had done. And
Okay,
just start with that, we'll start with those first. And yes, I know I have to make the corrections. Don't forget to send me the info for that. But yes, ma'am.
please put your link in the chat. Let's go for it. You got the link in there.
Yeah. So anybody who has a social media, if you have social media, you can go to the Google Doc here, the forms, and just fill out for whatever social media platform that you're on. And it's going to create an aggregate list for me. And what I'll be doing each time I post, I'll tag you in it. And what you can do is repost, you can reshare, you can share, you can download. They're going to be pretty colorful pages with the different quotes on, and you can share it with your email contacts or whomever. But yeah, we want to just get the word out. I call it a social media blitz for the Black Women for Positive Change. And we're just gonna bombard social media and take it over and get everybody excited about voting.
All right, we're launching that tonight, right, David?
Yes.
All right, great.
Let's go.
I wanted to make a suggestion. We talked about the fact that some of these states that have their primaries, I don't think that we also mentioned that some of these very same states have had repressive laws launched against them. And we need to know in the states that have the primaries coming up, which ones are subjected to these laws, because one of the things that Melanie Campbell recommended, since we know that this is something that's not new, it's not the first time that we have been sieged for voting, is that we start helping them develop strategies around the voter suppression, including putting together voter survival kits, like taking their own water, taking their own snacks, those kinds of things. So if we need to reach out to these different states where these things are happening to find out who is really under the pressure. I mean, just having the dates of when the voting is taking place, but not recognizing that these people are literally being threatened with being able to vote. That's the other reason why Black Women for Positive Change is important, because we need to make sure that they understand that there's some workaround, that they don't have to, don't stay home just because somebody came up with a cockamamie idea. But Melanie said, maybe you have to go back to old school, show up, stay in the line, and make sure you vote, but make sure that everybody else does too, because the whole thing is that we're dealing with the power of intimidation. So it's not just that we know what the primary dates are. We need to know which states are using voter suppression tactics against our voters, because that's where our problem really is.
Now, Gloria, I like what you said about the voter survival kit.
Mhm.
Can we form a little committee right here on the spot to work with Gloria to put together maybe a one-pager? What should go into the voter survival kit? Would anyone volunteer to work with Gloria to put together a one-page memo that we can have posted? Damon can put it out on the social media. What is this voter survival kit? And there should be what? Several items in that kit. You said water, Gloria. What else?
Well, what it was, we had several seniors, water, maybe a folding chair, maybe a snack. If it's a hot day, maybe an umbrella or things like that they can endure and not be intimidated. They can stay on the line and endure and make sure that that vote is done.
Okay, and a lot of this voter suppression is hitting older people of all
Yes.
colors, not just Black folks, but elderly. These voter
Right.
suppression laws are really hitting the elderly. So this voter survival kit can be very good for a lot of reasons.
And we can probably get churches and other organizations to chip in, donate, or whatever we need to do. Maybe even a little mini backpack that says "I voted" or "Midterm Votes Matter" logo on the back of it. So Robin, the young lady that was on with me yesterday, who is a public relations specialist, was talking about reaching out to different charitable organizations to see if we can get backpacks donated, and then we can have different states, localities, etc., stuff those kits or help people make their own kits. But those are things that we were talking about after we signed off yesterday, to get people motivated and to let them know that they're not defeated just because somebody passed a repressive law.
So that's a really good idea for people who aren't geared toward getting the cars out, then get the survival kits made. And that's a great idea. So please, Gloria, put your email in the chat room. And for those of you who are willing to work on that, let's get a survival kit plan in place. And let's have that presented next Wednesday at the next meeting. That's very good. Okay, so Damon's going to launch this social media blast. Dr. Georgia Dunstan couldn't be with us this evening, but she has written the John Lewis Good Trouble Voter Rights Creed. And I'll read it to you. We may have a few little editing changes as we go along, but this is basically what it is. Then you name yourself. I, Stephanie Myers, dedicate myself anew to the cause for which he, Congressman John Lewis, gave the full measure of devotion to voting, that this nation under God may have a new birthright of freedom and voter equity, and that the USA constitutional democracy, form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people, will not perish from this promised land. So this is a voting rights creed. And we will make this available, and people who convene meetings, Henry Lancaster, that might be something your alliance might want to pick up as a creed, and encourage people to sign the creed and get it out there. So that's another item we have. So we've got survival kits, creeds, social media blasts, TikTok dances, and voter cades. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We need somebody to design a poster that says midterm votes matter. Is anyone good at graphics? That's all it needs to say. Midterm votes matter.
That sounds like Damon to me.
Well, Damon's doing a lot. And anybody else know someone? You got a Gen Z who's a good graphics person? Midterm votes matter. That's a simple thing, but we need to make the sign so we can send it out as a template to everyone so they can make it up as a poster and put it on their cars.
You know what? My daughter's a computer graphics design specialist. Let me see if she'll do it.
Okay.
I'm saying that I will ask her, but she won't say yes.
Okay, good.
I'll let you know by tomorrow, Stephanie, okay?
Oh, that's fine. And just let me mention too, that in October, we have our National Month of Families, Nonviolence, and Opportunities. So this voter situation has kind of come on top of our existing agenda, but I want you all to be aware of that. October is the month of violence prevention. So while you're talking with all these groups and trying to get them motivated, let them know that we also need them in the struggle against violence. It's a separate issue, critically important also. So that's just a little commercial on that front. Okay. All righty. Well, I'd like to share with you the Shirley Chisholm promo. Darren, you ready to play the promo? Henry Joseph, who is our videographer, this is his brother Darren, and his sister's on, Dr. Joseph. There she is down in Florida. Henry is just an incredible videographer that my husband and I have known for many years, and he supports us in lots of ways. And tonight he's at the ARC in Washington, D.C., and they're producing, and it's the opening night for a play about Shirley Chisholm. So just wanted you all to know about it. So let's go ahead and play promo so you all will see it first.
I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America. I am not a candidate of America, although I am Black and proud. I am not the candidate of the women's movements in this country, although I am a woman and equally proud of that. I am not the candidate of any political bosses or fat cats or special interests. I stand here now without endorsements from any big name politicians or celebrities or any other kind of prop. I do not intend to offer to you the tired and glib cliches which for too long have been an accepted part of our political life. I am the candidate of the people of America. And my presence before you now symbolizes a new era in American political history. I have always earnestly believed in the great potential of America. Our constitutional democracy will soon celebrate its 200th anniversary, a effective testimony to the longevity to our Constitution and its unique Bill of Rights, which continues to give to the world an inspirational message of freedom and liberty. We Americans are a dynamic people. Wait 1 minute. I see photographers and reporters here, but I need to give the rest of you the larger picture. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and when I was 3 years old, I was sent to live with my grandmother on a farm in the West Indies, Barbados. The oldest daughter, I knew I needed to help.
Hey, Darren, I think we can kind of wrap up.
Selma, which was more than I could handle. Odessa.
Okay, thank you. It gives us a flavor for it. And this is a play called Campaign 17. Is that right, Darren?
Yeah,
72.
72.
Campaign
72 campaign, yeah.
Featuring Shirley Chisholm. And it's playing at the Arc here in Washington, D.C. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Well, we've got a lot of creativity here, so this is good. So next Wednesday, we will get together again. We'll have hopefully more people saying, okay, we've decided we're going to do votercades on this date and this community with this plan. We've got to pull this together. And please talk to the groups in your community. You guys are all leaders. Councilwoman Hubbard, you're all leaders. And so please do as Gloria Dulon is asking everyone to do. And let's get on out there and change the world. And we have to, because if we don't change it, it's going to change us.
For the worse.
You know, right now in Washington, D.C., there's a plane flying around and they just evacuated the U.S. Capitol and all the office buildings around the Capitol about an hour ago. There's a plane flying in the air and they don't know what the plane is or who it's from or why it's flying. Now, this is distressing to me because my husband and I live about a half a mile away from the Capitol. So we don't know what is going on, but these are some very, very troubling times. The Russians, the Chinese, Proud Boys, the Ku Klux Klan. If you guys haven't heard it, go on Roland Martin and Google Roland Martin Delta Sigma Theta, Virginia. And you will hear a guy from Loudoun County, Virginia, who got angry because he saw members of my sorority and Glennis's sorority at the White House and at the White House and Gloria's. We all happen to have this in common. We had members at the White House for the party celebrating Supreme Court Justice Kajani Jackson. And this man from Loudoun County, Virginia got mad because the sorors took a group picture. I mean, people do this all the time. You're at the White House, you get together with your friends, you take a picture. Well, he wrote some very sarcastic, attacking comments on Twitter. And Roland Martin found what he wrote. And Roland Martin had him on his show. You can see the whole thing. Danielle, I said your name. I didn't leave you out. And Danielle. So look at that, because it was a very troubling event. And he talked about Black women, Deltas, having power, trying to take over. He said the skull and bones used to run things. Now the Black women and the Deltas are trying to run things. And he made it sound very sinister. He said it was a secret society. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. These women shouldn't have been at the White House. It was terrible. So there's a lot going on out here. And the head of the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors, I believe it is, happens to be a Black woman Delta. And you have women in the Senate. My co-chair, Dawn Hester, another Delta, treasurer of the city of Norfolk, Virginia. So we've worked hard, we've gone to school, our men and our women, and are accomplishing things. And people are jealous and envious of this. So
All the more
check
gotta
out
make sure we
Roland
get
Martin.
everybody.
What'd you say, Gloria?
I said all the more reason why we gotta activate our base. That kind of, I saw that video with Roland Martin. It's frightening because the guy, I wanted to know where his KKK membership card was.
Yeah.
Because he was as close to the new sophisticated KKK as they could get.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
It was very, very vicious, very frightening. And he's head of the GOP down in Virginia.
He was also implying that we were gang signs.
Pardon me?
He was also implying that we were throwing up gang signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what an ass. I mean, you have, yes, those people like that are dangerous, but you gotta just laugh at some of these, the ones who you gotta laugh at them and just beat them to the polls.
Okay.
Because he's the same kind of individual, if you want to call him that used to occupy the White House.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's the same innuendos. Those are the innuendos and everything. He drew Roland out because Roland's wife was a soror. He drew him out, and I kind of think Roland gave him too much information. But the thing about it is, that's the game plan that Trump uses when he wants to find out where the sore spots are.
Exactly.
We have to watch out for that.
Well,
that's exactly what.
Our chaplain, Reverend Dr. Barbara Reynolds, has an op-ed that will be in the Black press probably tomorrow. Hazel Trice Edney, who's our news service, is putting something out, and they're responding to those comments and talking about the organization, the contributions it has made over the past 100 years. And Glennis just sent a note, bluevirginia.us on their website. They have a whole dialogue going on about the Ketanji Brown Jackson and this Loudoun GOP chair. So check it out. We got to be ready to stand up and fight. And that's where we are. So thank you all for coming. Any last comments or suggestions?
You mean to tell me nobody wants to work with me on midterm votes matters or the packagings?
I will, Gloria DeLon Wilson.
Thank you, Henry.
What do you want us to do, Gloria? What do you need us to do?
Well, I think we need to come up with some concepts and maybe let's find out who we can get to help put them together that might want to donate or contribute. In the meantime, I think if we come up with the concept of what needs to be in them by state, maybe each state will have a bag or something like a logo or something like that. We can do that fairly easily because we're all creative.
Okay, let's definitely have a call.
Okay.
Offline, we'll get together and discuss that.
And maybe get the 100 top Black businesses or 100 businesses, go after them. Everybody claimed after George Floyd, they were going to do all these wonderful things. All right, ask them. They should be able to put up some money. Now, if they donate the money to the Positive Change Foundation, our nonprofit, we can help purchase supplies if it needs to come that way, if you want to raise money. But we've got different strategies we can use. The survival kits, term vote matter survival kits.
Absolutely. And also all the wonderful athletes that were willing to do everything. I think that they should understand that this is still essential 2 years. Well, it's actually only a year after the Floyd conviction. So as far as that we're concerned, we need to maybe circle back to all those that were volunteering back then to make sure that they're still engaged.
I wrote a letter to our contact at the NBA 2 days ago, and she responded that the NBA isn't doing anything right now, that the players are not going out to do community work. It just seems to be a lull, because I was asking her to get some celebrities for our voter cades. I said, we've got people organizing voter cades all over the country. We need the local NBA players to ride in the voter cades with the work that our team is doing. So I reached out to her, who works for the NBA, and her answer was, can't do it.
It's the playoffs. You may have to wait.
Yeah.
Well, is it-
Dr. Myers, it's Carthenia, and I am a member of the NBA. So I will reach out again to our director. I know they had quite a few changes, and also our President Moore on this matter.
okay.
Now, we're talking about the basketball association, not the nurses.
No, oh, I'm talking about the NBA National Bar Association.
Okay, the
Sorry
bar.
about that.
Well, the bar association would be terrific, Carthenia, to help with these survival kits. That would be great.
Right.
And if some of the top
And Lynn Whitfield and I do sit, we are members of the Women's Lawyers section of the National Bar Association as well.
Right.
Okay. Wonderful.
We've got some networks, folks. We just have to mobilize them. So
Right.
please. All righty. Well, thank you, everyone. And we'll be back here next Wednesday. And please.